This is Red America Radio. Straight up conservative talk for today's red-blooded American with the host of Ion DC and Ion South Florida's Karen Turk. Making radio great again. Red America Radio.
Welcome back. It's another beautiful South Florida morning, ready to conquer the world. And I'm ready to do it with a brand new and exciting co-host that I can't wait to introduce. I have Dr. Chris Metzler in the studio. We've co-hosted together on INDC, and now we're here together taking over the airwaves.
That's right. We're going to take it over, folks. Hold on to your seats.
Absolutely. I am so glad you're here, and you have a new book coming out that I'm so excited to share with our listeners. And there's been so many things that have taken place in the past couple of weeks. We have a lot of really newsworthy items to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. So the new book is Divided We Stand, The Search for America's Soul. It really explains why the president was elected. It also explains what the problem is with the mainstream media in gory detail. I'll tell you, after this book, I probably will never, ever be booked on another mainstream media
Well,
channel.
Thank God you now have your own radio show
right.
here with me, so we don't have to deal with the mainstream
We don't
media.
need them. We don't need them.
Absolutely.
And then it offers solutions to the division. So we'll be talking a lot more about that. But I'm so excited. It's published by Post Hill Press and Simon & Schuster. So we're excited. We're ready to go.
And it's not your first rodeo. You've been writing for a long time.
Oh, this is my third book. So it really, as a matter of fact, the last book I published, which was really about Barack Obama's presidency, got me hated by liberals even more than I am now. So it was great. So I'm really happy about it.
We're awful divided on this wall issue right now.
Yeah, we're divided on the wall issue, but here's the thing. You know, the wall is part of the problem, and I think the president has made that clear. It is about border security, and in fact, he's been very clear about what needs to be done to protect the borders. And I think it's an absolutely brilliant strategy when he decides to declare an emergency and build it anyway.
Well, and we talked a little bit about that, and I want to give my prediction right here. So
Yes.
Not only do you know it, and my husband knows it, but now all of our listeners know it. And I think strategically as a businessman, and one of the things that I've respected about our president since day one is that at the end of the day, he's strategic and he's a business person. And when I saw him pulling the troops out of Syria, and I saw him kind of reconfiguring some of this military stuff, I thought to myself in the back of my mind, I wonder if he can use the military budget towards building the wall.
Right.
And it turns out if he enacts the national state of emergency, that may be exactly what he ends up doing. And I don't know how many people have that on their radar screen, but it's certainly on mine.
Yeah, and I think you're 100% right there. And the other thing, you know, that people really just don't understand is that this is not a legal issue. I just keep hearing people say, oh, he can't do that constitutionally. You are, if you believe that, 100% wrong. This is a political issue. It's not a legal issue. And as a matter of fact, we elected him to solve the political problems, which is what he's doing.
Well, and you know, politics has become the reality show of today's America.
Oh, absolutely.
And, you know, I've said that a lot of times here on the air. We've said that on INDC. And we're
Yes.
all consuming this. We're all watching this. We're all watching
Right.
it unfold. We're all divided, just going with the title of your
Yes.
book. And, you know, to see Nancy and Chuck up there the other day, I thought to myself, what kind of memes are going to come out after this? My Instagram story, I was live, and I was like, what memes are coming out? And some of the memes have been pretty good.
They have been fantastic.
I got them posted on the Red America Radio Facebook page if you want to check them out.
Yeah, they've been fantastic because, in fact, it just kind of looked to me as they were standing there delivering the so-called response that they were somehow captured. They were prisoners. It was a very forced
It was
delivery. I was like, Seriously?
I thought they looked like a couple.
They did.
And
It was
that
weird.
was weird. And it was when the memes started to come out, and there's been so many good ones, but one of my favorite ones was the one where they're the parents.
Oh,
and
yes.
the kid comes home and they're like, Mom and Dad need to talk to you. Because that's how I felt watching it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was so bizarre. I'm standing there going, yeah, and we should have you do what with this country?
I think they're kind of digging their own hole, though.
I
Because
think they
I
are.
think most logical people, whether you're conservative or not, I know I have a lot of liberal friends, and I have a lot of friends that are on the left that don't agree with me and,
Yes.
will fight me on policy issues. But I think in a logical standpoint, most people who are in the real world who are consuming this media are saying to themselves, this is kind of entertaining, but it's kind of stupid.
Absolutely, it is entertaining and it's stupid. It's absolutely foolish, and they're passing all these bills to so-called reopen the government. I think you need the Senate to vote yes, and you also need the president to sign it as well. And so it's the sideshow of Chuck and Nancy.
It is. It is like a sideshow. It's the reality show Circus of America,
Yes.
and they are the sideshow act right now.
They absolutely are. I'm just waiting for them to both pop out of a clown car at some point.
Listen, that might be next. We're going to have to stay tuned for that one.
Absolutely.
So we're going to put a lot of stuff up on our Facebook
Yes.
page and also our Instagram at Red America Radio, where our listeners can follow us. But tell everybody how they can reach you and how they can get your book.
Sure. Dr. Chris Metzler. You can reach me there. All of my social media. Visit my website at drchristophermetzler.com.
And order the book.
Order the book. Simon & Schuster, Amazon, wherever books are sold.
Barnes & Noble, too?
Barnes & Noble.
Ah.
I even understand that it's being sold by Target.
Ooh,
So-
Target. You hit the big time.
That's right,
You hit the
Target.
big time, Target. Once you're in Target,
Yeah, that's it. You can't go any better than that.
that's the pinnacle.
Yes.
So we're going to talk. We actually have a really interesting guest that's coming on
Yes.
today who also, on the subject of books, is educating kids in America. And she's educating them on libertarian values.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to talk to her because I think that, in fact, that is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about the idea of personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility, what a concept.
Yes. And I think so. I am so excited to talk with her because her work is absolutely fantastic. So I'm really, really excited to
And
talk
she's
to her.
got videos, she's got books.
yes.
They're geared from K through, I think, 6 years old.
yeah.
I think so, like first grade.
Yeah.
And she's got videos out there. She's got songs. She has learning materials. And she has an educational curriculum for teachers.
Well, which is really, really interesting because, as we know, from the standpoint of a number of the schools, an educational curriculum for teachers and personal responsibility for kids is quite a novel concept.
It is. It is. And, my son is a middle school student. He goes to middle school somewhere around here locally. We won't
Yes.
exactly say where, but he just go to public school. And he came home and he immediately, and he's a conservative. I'm raising him that way, and
Yes.
he knows what's right.
Yes.
And he came home and he said, you know what, Mom? He goes, there's only one teacher in my whole school that's pro-president. And he's a history teacher. And he says he's absolutely trying to educate the kids on what's logical and teach them about politics. He goes, when a lot of the other teachers won't say anything at all or will take an entirely leftist position.
Well, and that's the thing, really helping kids understand from a historical and other standpoint policy, politics, and then having them make their own decisions as they grow older, I think is a critical component missing in all of the school systems.
It is missing in all the school systems, and we're also making these kids really, really, really soft. And you want to know what
God.
bothers me is, we talk about bullying, and we talk about, these kids calling each other names and all these things. And believe me, I'm completely sensitive to it. Nobody is advocating for bullying, but we also have to teach our kids to stand up for themselves. We also have to teach kids that words don't necessarily matter,
Yeah.
and that other people have free speech, and other people are going to say things you don't like.
Absolutely. And I think, I agree with you 100% about really having our kids, become such wimps. I mean, it's that's really what I am experiencing. I'm like, please, grow up already. And, and the thing for me also as an employer, when they then come into the workplace, I've got people who will say to me, oh, my mom's going to call in sick for me. No, your mom doesn't work here.
My mom is going to call in sick for me.
Yeah, your mom doesn't work here. So but again, it's going through that system. And even I used to teach both at Cornell and at Georgetown. And what I experienced was this sense of no personal responsibility.
And sort of a sense of entitlement. I mean, it's just a genuine sense of entitlement where, it's almost like, and here you are, you're at an Ivy League school. You're talking about an Ivy League school. Yeah. So you're talking about really smart kids.
They are.
That are coming in there that are brilliant.
Yes.
And they still don't have that piece of personal responsibility. There's something missing. We did something wrong as parents.
Yeah, there's definitely something missing. And I think it is instilling in them that sense of personal responsibility. That is a critical piece because it's not only enough to succeed academically. You also have to have that sense of personal responsibility because that is what gives you the edge.
Absolutely.
That's a critical piece.
Well, and this is what Dory's doing with Little Libertarians, and we're going to get her on the line and say hello, and I'm super excited to talk to her.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Red America Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
The NFRW, National Federation of Republican Women, brings together conservative women and raises their voices all over America. Join our movement. Get involved in your local federation and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Did you know that veterans and their families may be entitled to $24K a year to cover age-related expenses? Visit TurkLawGroup.com to find out more and get better care to age in place. Serving those who've served. Turk Law Group.
Still using lamestream media for news? Stop being a victim to clickbait and visit Populist Wire. They're delivering real news to over 100 million people a year. Visit Populist Wire on Facebook or at populistwire.com.
We're back with more Red America Radio. And we have Dory with Little Libertarians on the line. Hey, Dory.
Hey, Karen. How are you?
Great. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
We're really excited. Chris and I really are looking forward to talking to you and find out how you're impacting this new generation of kids.
Well, hopefully. That's the goal. I wish there wasn't any need for this. It seems like these stories are based on basic premises that most, I would say, normal parents would teach their kids.
You would think.
But unfortunately, it seems, like there's been such a kind of crazy, infiltration of sort of these indoctrinating tendencies at the younger and younger levels that it seems like you need to push back and push these stories that promote these very foundational principles of liberty that our country is founded on.
For sure. And, they are kind of like such basic principles. And I have to say, Chris and I were talking about this before the show. And we're both the parents of kids that are in their 20s. And, even as parents, like we kind of question, some of the decisions we've made and that maybe we've made our kids a little bit soft. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to be able to really teach these kids the foundation of what we were doing, 40 some odd years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, Dory, we absolutely think that there's that opportunity. So tell us some about what's your approach? How do you engage them to get the messages?
For me personally, my goal with these books, and also we have cartoons, and hopefully we'll be doing more with cartoons, is just keep it very relatable. So our first story is called "Don't Hurt People and Don't Take Their Toys." It's something that hopefully every single parent is saying to their kids, but it also happens to be the foundation of a libertarian or a conservative philosophy. Don't take things that belong to you. And then an adult can extrapolate from that. The reason being is that there's something that we value called property rights. And we can sit and we can philosophize and we can read economists. But it's also something that a kid very fundamentally can begin to understand. And when you keep it relatable, I try to strike at the empathy in the story. So in the story, "Don't Hurt People and Don't Take Their Toys," ultimately, the kid who the girl was taking the toys from ends up sharing his toys voluntarily. But it's about that voluntary act. It's about you don't take things, you share things, hopefully. And so by making it something that kids can relate to, I think these are the same exact principles that we need as adults, but just making them relatable to children in stories that they find interesting or funny.
Well, and I was watching some of your videos last night and looking at some of your books. And when we walked in here this morning, one of the first things I said to Chris is, I absolutely love your song about free speech.
Oh, yeah.
And it rolls in bullying into free speech. And I said, what a powerful message, because it gives a kid such an empowering view on, you know what, people can give me words and sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. When I was a kid, that was a thing.
Yes.
And it's almost become not a thing anymore.
Right.
And these kids are really hurt by the words of others.
It's becoming not a thing. It's scary when you see, basically adults on college campuses can't handle challenges to their ideological worldviews. And you got to wonder, where is this coming from? Where is it starting? And I think it is a bullying mentality, but no one ever thinks that they're the bully, right? Everyone's always fighting on the side of good. But in reality, it's so easy to become the bully. People who are enlightened understand that we all have, kind of an angel and a devil inside of us. We all are capable of being the bully, even with our best intentions. And I think that's a lot of what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's just the way that you're applying these very simple concepts, these things that we all think we're teaching as parents, and maybe we are, and maybe we're not doing such a great job anymore, but you're taking them and you're actually applying them to make these kids free thinkers.
Yeah, and I think that the free thinking, I love what you said about the college campuses. And as a former college professor, it's always interesting for me as a conservative college professor who would allow for debates on all sides, but then you have this indoctrination at a number of the college campuses where if you challenge my ideological position, then the professor starts to rant and to rave and those kinds of things. So I think it's important what you're doing, because you're really, in the long term, helping these kids know how to really address those positions when they get onto the college campuses. So I think that's brilliant.
Right, and just to see people with having other viewpoints as, not evil, not
right.
Something that you have to, protect your eyes from. Just other people who might have viewpoints that are different than you. I mean, schools go on and on about diversity and all of this, and then, any person, regardless of their identity, once they're branded as a conservative or a libertarian, is just not even capable of speaking the most basic arguments without having their grades docked. And these are foundational arguments that our Constitution was founded on. That's what I find so shocking. So if that's what's happening in this generation, what's going to be happening in 10, 15 years?
Correct.
That's what I worry about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And you're actually developing a curriculum too for teachers.
Yeah. So I don't know how far we'll go with the curriculum. There are kind of libertarian curriculums out there that are a little more advanced. My curriculum it's not actually, I just want to say this. These books themselves, they're called Little Libertarians, right? But they're not political. They're really philosophical. As I'm sure your watchers know, libertarianism is a philosophy as much as it is, there's a libertarian party, political party, but a lot of libertarians don't even believe in the political system, right? But there is, it's the philosophy that many of our great economists subscribe to. And it's really about not hurting people and not taking their things, right? So our curriculum, for example, I was looking through just basic, kindergarten through third grade curriculums. I never saw anything in there about consent. Consent is a really big topic right now.
Yes.
With Me Too and everything, but I never saw anything that got to the heart of what is consent. They take something like consent and turn it into an exclusively sexual phenomenon, right? But there's so much about consent that's not sexual. It's about the integrity of your person, and consent to a law, for example. What is consent? So, I have a lesson plan that just teaches kids about consent, in a way that actually embodies what consent is all about. Things like that. Like the lesson plans aren't political. They're more like, why are these things missing from the basic curriculum or being taught in a way that's, I don't know, geared to the Me Too movement, but not really getting at the heart of, why is it that we care about bodily integrity? Like, what does it mean when you don't? Like, who does it hurt? And so things like that. Another lesson plan that I have is objective versus subjective harm, which is something that you never see people teach to kids, but it's sticks and stones. It's really that, but you made explicit in giving kids the language to be able to apply it.
Well, yeah, and I think it's important what you just discussed relative to the curriculum not being political in the sense that we define politics now in the United States, but really just looking at those foundational and founding principles. So that is, and I love what you talked about at the beginning about the property rights piece. Very important to understand the philosophy behind that. Very important to understand the principles, and then you make whatever political decision you want to make when you're at that point in your life. So being able to separate the two, I think, is an excellent way at moving through it from an educational standpoint.
I think it's great. I think it's creating a really good foundation for this next generation. And I'm so glad you were able to visit us, Dory, today and tell us a little bit about what you're doing. Can you just tell our listeners how to reach you and where they can find you online?
Sure. So we're on all of the social media platforms. So if you just look up Little Libertarians, you'll find us on Facebook. We can really use your help, like just following us, retweeting us. We're on Twitter, sharing our Facebook posts. That really helps. It gets people really excited about the product. If you want to purchase any of our products, we have plenty of products available online in digital form. We only have one print book right now. And that print book is Don't Hurt People and Don't Take Their Toys. It's available at littlelibertarians.com. And it's for ages 0 through 7. It's a really cute gift if, someone's having a baby or, someone's in, has someone in, like, let's say first or second grade. We age tested it with kids in this group, and, like, they really like it. And the comments that warm my heart the most is, like, I'll get comments like, oh, like, my kids are fighting a little less because we had a discussion about not taking each other's toys and things like that. Like, those types of comments really warm my heart, and I get those on that book. So, yeah, and I would love your feedback as well, because we're just, kind of testing everything. We're really new. We started out this summer. So,
awesome.
Yeah, whoever wants to get in touch, any comments, anything, that would be great. I really appreciate it.
That's great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Red America Radio. Stay tuned. We'll be back on 850 WFTL.
Still using lamestream media for news? Stop being a victim to clickbait and visit Populist Wire. They're delivering real news to over 100 million people a year. Visit Populist Wire on Facebook or at populistwire.com.
Did you know that veterans and their families may be entitled to $24K a year to cover age-related expenses? Visit turklawgroup.com to find out more and get better care to age in place. Serving those who've served. Turk Law Group.
The NFRW, National Federation of Republican Women, brings together conservative women and raises their voices all over America. Join our movement. Get involved in your local federation and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
This has been an incredible episode, and I look forward to bringing you the latest news and highlights each week with Populist Wire and Ion DC. Until next time, folks, Red America Radio coming at you on 850 WFTL.
The NFRW, National Federation of Republican Women, brings together conservative women and raises their voices all over America. Join our movement. Get involved in your local federation and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Did you know that veterans and their families may be entitled to $24K a year to cover age-related expenses? Visit TurkLawGroup.com to find out more and get better care to age in place. Serving those who've served. Turk Law Group.
Still using lamestream media for news? Stop being a victim to clickbait and visit Populist Wire. They're delivering real news to over 100 million people a year. Visit Populist Wire on Facebook or at populistwire.com.